it's Felicity here. Welcome back to my channel, and for today's dance/stretching video, I'm going to be doing a video on some back stretches for getting a better flexibility. I'm going to be doing back stretches for getting better flexibility in your back. So, I'm going to admit I have been avoiding doing a video for back stretches for a while now, and that is because my flexibility in my back is literally terrible. Like, it is like less than 45 like my arabesque is like less than 90 degrees. That's how bad it is. So I've been kind of avoiding this video for a while because I obviously have to model the exercises you're doing in the video, and I just am not the best person. I am not the kind of person who can just like model an exercise where my leg is like impossibly high. It's just like super good, and yeah, I'm just not the kind of person who can do that for really anything in dance, but specifically for arabesques and like back flexibility. But it is important to have back flexibility, and that is an important thing. So I am doing this video today because I'm just finally gonna just like not care much, try not to care much about how terrible my back flexibility is. And honestly, I guess that's kind of better. It can get a little like discouraging when you are not very good at a certain thing in dance. And it's not even like back sort of flexibility, but if you're not very good at a certain thing in dance and you see other people who are like somehow impossibly amazing at doing it, it's like it can get kind of discouraging. You can be like, how are they doing it so well and I'm just like terrible at it? So yeah, I feel like, I guess in that sense, it's I guess kind of better for me to do these, because I guess it kind of shows you guys that I'm not amazing at these kinds of things either. Like, I'm still trying to learn them, so I'm still trying to get better at it. So, yeah, with that very lengthy, with that very lengthy intro out of the way, let's just get into the exercises. Okay, so for this first exercise, you're not gonna do a bunch of like backups or like lifting up your leg to the back yet, because I actually want to kind of loosen up your back first. So we're first gonna go into all fours, and you're just going to go into the cat-cow position. So if you don't know what the cat-cow position is, it's basically an exercise where for the cow position, you're going to kind of bring your like stomach sort of closer to the ground so your back is arched, and you're going to lift your head up. And then for cat, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to lift your back up close to the ceiling, and you're going to put your head down. And then you're kind of going to keep going between cow and cat and cow and cat. And we're going to be doing 20 repetitions of this. Again, this isn't really to like, this one is mostly just going to get your back warm so we can do more like backup sort of exercises later on in the video, because an important thing in dance is to warm up your muscles before you do anything, because that avoids like snapping or like tension in your muscles. So yeah, we're just gonna do 20 cat-cows or cow-cats, whichever one you want to start with, but yeah, let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now we're going to come into crisscross applesauce, whichever leg you want, and you are going to put your arms either on your legs or on your side. It doesn't really matter where they are, but we're basically going to do the same thing we did in the previous exercise, but just in this position. So we're going to do cat-cow again. So with this one, since we aren't on all fours anymore, it's kind of like you're going to be rolling forward and then back and then forward and then back. So it should be kind of like what we were doing before, or when you're rolling forward, you should kind of bring your stomach closer to the ground, and it's going to be like cow position, and then when you roll back, your back should go backwards, and it should be like cat position. So yeah, again, we're going to do 10 of these, so let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so for this next exercise, we are going to lay on our stomach, and we are basically, you probably know what this pose is when you do this. This has a couple different names, but it's usually called like cobra or mermaid or something like that. And for this exercise, we're actually not going to hold mermaid, we're actually going to roll up into mermaid. Because while static exercises, aka exercises where you are just sitting in like one pose, those are great for those are good exercises. Dynamic exercises where you are like actively moving your body can actually be better. So we are going to do basically that. So we are going to you're going to have your arms next to you, and you're going to roll up into mermaid as slowly as you can, and then you're going to roll back down. And as you might be able to tell, this is a little bit similar to the cat-cow exercises we were doing earlier in the video. So yeah, and another thing you should notice, the last thing that comes up is my head, and the last thing that comes down is your head. So your head should be like that. It should be the last thing to come up and the last thing to come back down to the floor. So we're gonna do 10 repetitions of that. So let's go. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so for this next exercise, this exercise is actually going to be a series of exercises that we're going to repeat twice. So going back to laying on your back, well, the first thing you're going to do is you are going to come up into Murray that we were doing before, except this time you're going to do it for 10 seconds and you're just going to hold here. You're not going to roll up here, and then you are going to go back into Trials pose and kind of just stretch out your back here. Make sure you don't overwork it. You're going to do that for 10 seconds. I'm going to come forward a bit so I can make sure I'm still on the camera. And then you're going to come back to this pose. So you're going to take whatever hand is. So if you start with your right hand, you're going to grab your left foot. And if you start with your left hand, you're going to grab your left foot. And you are going to reach forward from here. Try and grab your whole foot with your hand. And you're going to try and reach forward. Try and make sure that both of your hips are squared and you're not doing that. If you do this a little bit, it's fine, but do try to keep your hips as square as possible. And then you're going to do the other foot, and then you're going to do 10 seconds for each. And then you are going to come into what I like to call downward cat, because with this one, it's kind of like, sort of like a mix between Trials pose and the cat-cows we were doing earlier. So you're going to try and bend your back like this, and you're going to reach forward. So it's like kind of a mix between the cat-cow we were doing earlier and also downward dog. So I actually believe I did this exercise in my 25-minute warm-up, which for ballet class, which will be in the top right corner of the screen. I think this is the right corner. I think I was pointing to the wrong one, but yeah, we're basically going to repeat all 4 of those exercises twice. So yeah, and then 10 seconds for each pose. Okay, so let's just go. So 1, 2, Okay, so for this next exercise, we are going to lay back down on your stomach. And for this one, if you want, you can get a partner or somebody else to sit on your legs or on your feet while you do this. You don't have to get another person if you don't want to, but if you want, you can. So we're going to do something called backups. So with this, you are going to lift your back off the ground. That's basically what's called backups. It's basically just trying to lift your upper body off the ground while trying to keep your feet on the ground as well. And that's why you can get a partner for this, to make sure your feet don't go off the ground. But if you want to make it more challenging, you can just try and keep them on the ground yourself. So with this one, the important thing to remember is you don't have to get your back all the way up to 90 degrees. If you can do that, then go ahead and do that, but it's not required. I mean, I am probably not going to be able to get my back any higher than this, but that's completely fine. If you can't get your back up that high, then it's completely fine to just do it, to just go as far as you can. The important thing is that you are trying your best and you're actually engaging your back muscles while you do this. And basically we're going to do 8 repetitions of that, and then on the 8th one you are going to hold for 5 seconds. So let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And down. Okay, so going back to laying on your stomach, and I've taken off my sweater because I'm actually getting kind of hot doing this. You are actually going to lift your legs off of the floor, and you're not going to lift up your upper body. Not yet. We're going to do that in a little bit, but for now you're just going to be lifting up your legs. And for this one, you do not want to lift your legs super high. Basically, ideally, you should try and lift your legs as high off the floor as you can without bending your knees too much. You don't want to bend your knees like that just to get your feet off the floor. You should not do that. Try and keep your legs as straight as possible while you're doing this. And another thing is you want to keep your feet together. You don't want them to be apart because that makes it easier, and that is cheating. And another reason why you should not do that is you want to keep them behind you, directly behind you, because when you're doing an arabesque in ballet, you want your arabesque to be directly behind you, and if it's off to the side, then it's not behind you and you're training your arabesque to be wrong. So you need to make sure that you try and keep your legs as behind you as possible and try and keep them together. And we're just gonna do 10 repetitions of that. So let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Okay, so now for our next exercise, we are basically going to do we're basically going to take what we did in the previous two exercises and put them together. So we did the backups with just your back, and then we did lifting your legs up without your back. So now we are going to do both of those at the same time. So you're going to lift your back up, try and lift your upper body off of the floor as high as you can, and try and lift your legs off of the floor as high as you can without bending them too much or spreading them out like that. And if you don't have a mat already, I would recommend doing this on your mat, because I probably should have said this before, but these exercises are kind of uncomfortable if you do them on a hard floor, so you probably will want a mat, but that is optional. So yeah, we're basically going to be lifting both your upper body and your legs off the floor at the same time, and we're going to do 10 repetitions of that. And again, just remember what I've told you for the exercise with just lifting your upper body off the floor and just lifting your legs off of the floor, that it doesn't matter how high you get your back as long as you do the exercise correctly. And if you do these exercises more and more, like every day, then you should probably be able to get your back higher up every time, or eventually get higher up. So yeah, let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and try to hold here if you can, and down. And for this last exercise, we're just going to go down into child's pose and stretch out your back the other way. So your back is definitely going to probably be sore after doing these, but like I said, if you do these exercises consistently, you should probably start to see some results in getting a higher back. Again, for a lot of these exercises, it doesn't really matter how high your back is, as long as you're doing these exercises correctly. These are less for people who already have very flexible backs, and this is more for if you don't have that much back flexibility and you're trying to build strength. This is more strength building than showing off how high your back is. And if you want, you can rock side to side in this position and just relax here. But anyways guys, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to consider liking and subscribing to see more content like this on my channel. Anyways guys, hope you have a great day, night, afternoon.